All right, folks, welcome to the week of January 18th. I'm going to try to get through this without saying too many times. This week, I'm going to give you this flip video, which you're watching right now, and there'll be a link right here on your calendar. So again, if we go back to your marine biology landing page here, there's a marine biology calendar that'll open this thing up here. That's where the link is for this flip video. You're going to work your way through a coral reef project this week. We're going to start talking about coral reefs and start digging into some pretty interesting stuff. You'll have a checklist that's on here, and I'll show you that in a second. Tomorrow, you'll research on your own time, trying to keep this real brief for you so you understand what you got to do. So you'll research on your own time. And on Thursday, we're going to have a Google Meet with Dory from 4Oceans. So this is the company that helps clean up plastic in the oceans. And she will be here to tell us about their company and then answer questions. Make sure you have questions posted in this spreadsheet from last Friday. And then Friday again, it's time to complete up your project, wrap that thing up, and then it is going to be due on Monday, January 25th. So you may be wondering what your project is all about. It's about coral reefs. So I just want to talk real briefly about coral reefs. I know that some of you, you've seen this video before, and I've kind of shown different parts of it and pieces of it. But coral reefs are really absolutely amazing places. And I will just let this run for a second and just talk to you about the fact that, coral reefs are this super, super diverse community. The fact that we're going to learn here about coral reefs, and one that you want to take home from this quick little lecture, is that coral reefs only make up 1% of all of the ocean, but 1 in 4 creatures in the ocean, 1 in 4 marine organisms relies and lives in a coral reef. So 1/4 of everything out there in the ocean utilizes or uses coral reefs. It might be for a short period of time. Maybe they just hatch their young there and it's a nursery for them, or maybe they spend their whole life there. But coral reefs are these really diverse things, and we always look at them. They're really colorful and cool. They got all different colors. I'm trying to show them on here, and they great hiding places for all kinds of really bizarre fish and unique fish. This one happens to be a spotted trunk fish, and he's hiding underneath a little crevice there. But the reality is like all these little tiny things are just different pieces of coral. All these different colors, they're different pieces of coral. They're different types of coral. So we're actually looking at like a forest of coral in here. Even though this fish is only like the size of your fist, the diversity of all kinds of coral in here is crazy. It's one of the most diverse ecosystems on the planet, and you've likely seen episodes of Nature or Planet Earth or whatever regarding that stuff. I also want to talk about the fact that, when you're going through a coral reef and see the people going past here, but you've got all kinds of sponges and corals and all kinds of soft corals and things like that going on along them. The diversity is what makes these things so incredibly unique. And to most people, they just kind of look like rocks. They don't look like a whole lot. And I wanted to point out a couple instances in this video where you got soft coral. You've got a sponge here, actually. You've got a different type of coral called foliate coral. Here's a massive coral. Here's a massive coral that this scorpion fish is sitting on. So usually when people look at videos of, coral reefs or planet Earth or Blue Planet or whatever, they usually just get lost in like the obvious things. Like this is obvious fish here trying to hide from me. That one's a scorpion fish. But what people miss is all the diversity of coral that's here. And that's where I want to try to get you tuned in a little bit more. So this scorpion fish, he's hiding out and he's super fast. You'll see him zoom here in a second. And he'll zip away. There he goes. And then he goes and he hides in a different place. Now, a scorpion fish is a very, very deadly toxic fish, actually. My camera's on a long mount here, so I'm not in any danger. But he's hiding right here again. He blends in a lot better right here. So that's a scorpion fish, and they utilize the reef too, obviously, camouflage. Some fish, like this is a rock beauty, they are not very camouflaged at all. And here's a human who is absolutely not camouflaged. But I wanted to get to a little point here in this video. It's coming up in about 5 seconds here, where everybody misses the point and everybody misses what they're actually looking at. You're going to see a clip here, right here. This is a chunk of coral here. And this is it's called a Christmas tree worm. It's actually the gills of a worm. The worm builds its house inside the coral, like burrows into the coral, and then extends its gills. It's got specialized filtering gills located on its exterior, and it fans those out, and that's how it breathes, and that's how it eats too. It catches little plankton and things like that. They're really cool when you see diving. You'll see me putzing around with them if you ever take a dive trip with me. And what you do is when you get up close to them, they retract their gills in super quick. And so you'll see this thing just like snap down and just kind of disappear real quickly. So here we go. And zip, there it went. What most people fail to recognize on this quick little clip is the fact that the coral moved too. And look at the coral around here. See how it looks kind of bumpy and everything? It looks like it has like little things squeezed out of it. Watch the coral respond. Did you see that the coral actually responded there? That the coral actually had a response to the reaction here. Notice that this coral has actually hidden inside these little tiny dimples. So these coral out here weren't really affected by it, but these coral actually moved. So these things that everybody thinks that are rocks are just like, yeah, they just kind of sit there. I don't really understand them. The coral itself is alive very much. And every one of these little dimples, every one of these little things that are extended out, those are individual organisms. So when we're looking at this, we're not looking at, when we look at this thing, we're not looking at, just a Christmas tree worm and maybe a blenny over here and maybe a little squirrelfish over here. We're looking at hundreds of thousands of little tiny critters making up the coral reef, and those are the coral themselves. So we're going to take some time this week to describe what's going on. We'll watch this one more time here because it's really super cool. So we're going to talk about all this coral stuff, realize all of these things are made up of tens of thousands of little organisms. So what we're going to do then is I'm going to show you what the project is. So this is going to be linked for you guys, and it's in your week 5 folder. So if you open up the week 5 folder, there'll be a coral reef project. And so here's what we're going to do. I'll try to go through this as quickly as possible because you can read this later, but you're going to pick a topic from below down here. So I've listed a whole bunch of topics, and you're going to register it on a spreadsheet. So there'll be a spreadsheet where you put your name, the topic, and then when you're done with your project, you're going to put a link to your completed Google slide there. I don't want a whole bunch of people doing the same exact topic. So if your topic's been chosen, pick something else. If you can't figure it out, get a hold of me and I'll try to get you a different one. There are all kinds of cool, amazing things on a reef, obviously. Create a little mini presentation. Google Slides is the easiest, but you can do anything you want. It's going to be due by next Monday, January 25th. I won't read through all these again, but there's some bigger picture ideas here, like how do hurricanes affect things, carbon fixing importance of reefs, new coral reef found in locations that are unique. I tried to pick fish of the reef that I thought were really cool. So you can pick a fish or some type of biology here of the fish. I also tried to pick like the coral and the sponges themselves. So like we need to learn more about the corals themselves and like the sponges as well, because they are really the structure of the entire reef. So I picked some topics here. You can go ahead and research those and try to figure out like, well, what do I want to do here? I will tell you that these are usually the delightful surprises down here. Most everybody likes to go for the fish because it's like, oh, I like sharks, so I'm going to do a shark one. The learning is really done here with the coral because it's not something that you probably already knew. The requirements for the final presentation, I'll just mention these things. You have to have at least 3 scientific sources. Make sure you cite them. Many of you have trouble citing things, so let me know if you need help. 3 sources, though, and they got to be scientific. It can't be like some BuzzFeed article or something like that. It's got to be something relatively scientific, Nat Geo or some type of, science, associated website or documentation. It has to have 4 slides of information on the topic, so try to get 4 slides out of this thing. You have to have visuals or a video at some point. So a video is really cool. Like if you're doing cleaning stations or something like that, like you can just show a cleaning station video really quickly. If you're doing the effect of hurricanes on reefs, you can do a quick video of a hurricane and a reef before and after or something like that. Or you can just use pictures is fine. Absolutely fine. And the pictures can be 1 slide by themselves. I'm saying 4 slides here. So you can just use pictures if you want to for one of the slides. And then one of the slides should also have a check for understanding, a link to a Kahoot, a worksheet, maybe some quiz questions, etc. Something that tells us like, this is the important stuff. We should know this. We're going to present these things in really, really informal fashion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys to share a single slide during a Google Meet next Monday. So on the 25th, we'll sit down in a Google Meet and I'll say, okay, so-and-so, pull your slide, open it out here, and I will open them up. And then which slide should we look at here? And you tell me, like, oh, go to the third one here, and then we'll take a quick look at it, and you tell us why you picked that slide or what we thought was really cool about this thing. So I'll ask some follow-up questions, or I'll add my own little tidbits on there, and it should take about 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes per person. While we're on the topic of doing those Google Slides, I do want to share that when you make your Google slide, make sure that you share it correctly so that I can open it on that date. So you click on share, and then you're going to get link here, and you're going to share this with anyone with the link, and then you click done. And then that will open it up to anybody with that link. And then that way I can open it during the Google Meet. Okay, so that's pretty much it. You have a checklist that will be posted for you, and it looks something like this. Sorry, there we go. So watch the flip video, choose a topic, research. Make sure you come to that Google Meet on the 21st for our guest speaker. And then read and review an article from Catherine McDonald for next week. And we will be meeting with her. She's a researcher from the University of Miami, and we will be meeting with her next Thursday. So that's all on the calendar. It's all located here. And I think that's about all you needed to know. So that's it.